this that we are doing is not actually something theoretical. This slide is just to give us something to refer to. So we're going to see all these things very shortly. When we talk about file manager, that is it's just more or less like the file manager on your phone. That is the app that manages the placement of files on the server in your hosting account. So where you put all your files that were uh, developed, all the files of the different pages. So where you put them, the uploaded images, the texts, everything. So where they are, we're going to see that shortly. And of course, we can also manage email accounts, and we can manage backup and few other things on cPanel. Now, this is the dashboard. Of course, the first thing you do, you remember I showed to us in the last class, godaddy.com, namecheap.com, Truehost. This is the Truehost account or Truehost website, truehost.com. We have Go54. It used to be WooGoHost, but it's now Go54.com. We have Domain King. We have Bluehost. We have SiteGround. We have HostGator. We have DreamHost. There are a lot of different hosting companies. But from my own experience, I have narrowed it down to, if I'm not using GoDaddy, I'll be using Namecheap, or I'm using Truehost. Truehost is a Nigerian hosting company, and their services are quite reliable. So because of the ease of payment transaction and other things, so I make use of them. Okay, so of course here you see home services, domains, billing, support, open ticket, and affiliate. Okay, so the services is where you actually see the hosting accounts you have with them. The domains, that's where you manage the domain names you have with them. And billing, of course, you know what that implies. That knows the payment. Support, if you want to reach out to them. And then open ticket is more specific if you want to lodge a complaint. Under support, you might have the knowledge base, announcement, downloads, etc. But here, you open a ticket and you reach out to them directly, and of course, the affiliate, which is the affiliate account. All right, so we want to get into the host. Oh, before we go into the host, let's start with the domains. So I just clicked on the domain name, and you can see here I have jasperfidgeters.com and taiwadonide.com.ng. So these are the two domain names I have on these hosting accounts. Okay, and then the two of them, there are different things you can do with a domain name when you're managing a domain name. For example, there's something we call name servers. So what are name servers? It's possible we have our domains on one hosting account, or let's call it domain registrar, and then we have another hosting account where our files, our website files are actually stored. That's a possibility. For example, I can have my domain name on, let's say, namecheap.com, and I have my hosting account on godaddy.com. So the way I'll be able to manage the two of them is through what we call name servers. So what the name servers means and what they do is that the name server belongs to the hosts, but you must come to enter it on where you have your domain name. The name server belongs to the hosts, but then you have to get it and come and paste it on your domain registrar. In my own case here, it is this same hosting account that owns the domain name. So it's still the same name server, but there are instances where you have your domain name on an account and you have your hosting on another account. So you have to copy the name server from your hosting and come and paste it on where you have your domain name. I want somebody to rephrase or paraphrase what I just said and explain. I want to be sure that is clear to us to avoid confusion.
Yes, thank you, sir. We understand. In your own case, I think what you are using, you have the domain name and you also have the hosting server. Or what you are using is still on your own server, but in case we have the domain name somewhere, and what we are using is just another thing that is not on the domain name, so we just copy from there and put. But in your own case, you have the two together. on the same.
Perfect. Great. Great. Thank you so much for that contribution. And Mary just mentioned the same thing in the chat box too, that the name server is for the host, but we are to impute. Okay, just a little mix up. Yes, the name server belongs to the host, so it must be added to your domain registrar account. Okay, I hope you get that. This is very important. If the name server is incorrect, your website will not display on the web, even if you already bought your domain name and you already bought your hosting account and you have put your website files on your hosting account. Now, there is a situation that happened just 2 days ago. I completed it. We had a domain name and hosting account together. One of my clients actually preferred that hosting account and we got the domain name on it too. And we hosted the website on it. Then, when the website was launched, we realized that the website is very slow. The website was taking almost 3 minutes to load. And I was telling my clients that, of course, if any one of us, if you are the visitor to the website and you realize that this website is very slow, you won't even bother to wait. You just move on to another website that is offering a similar service. I think I mentioned it in our last class. So what I did eventually was to get another hosting account. Don't forget we already bought the domain name. So we got another hosting account where we hosted all the website files. So when we did that, we now had to get the name server from that hosting account and we went to have the domain name to place the name servers on it. So that was how the issue was resolved. Okay. So basically, that is very important, and I want us to just take note of that. This is one of the major things you manage on your domain registrar or your domain accounts. So please just take note of that. The other things you do is okay, you can maybe if you want to transfer the domain name from this account now to another account entirely, this EPP code where I'm hovering my mouse, there's a code you get. I won't click on it for security reasons, but there's a code you get that you now send to the person who wants to get the domain name from you. So once the person enters that EPP code, and then you have transferred the person will just claim the domain name since you have already released it, that okay, I want you to be the one to continue managing the domain name. So domain names can actually be transferred from one account to the other. The only downside that comes with it is you will have to, even if I just got the domain name here, you too will have to pay for like a year where you are transferring it to. So that's just the only downside. But aside from that, you can transfer domain names. But we didn't want to make another payment in that case of the my kind I mentioned. We didn't want to make another payment, so we felt like okay, let the domain name be where it is while we just move the name servers and paste it on the domain name registrar. I hope that's clear to us. So basically, that's what you manage on domains. So let's come to the hosting account where the main thing is actually. So this is the hosting account I have here, okay? And you don't forget that what brought us here is actually what we call the cPanel. So this is the cPanel now, and that's where we're going to be carrying out some activities now in the next few minutes. Now, when you click on the cPanel, let me log in. I just clicked on it. See, it has loaded some tools already. On the cPanel, just let's quickly look through what we have on the cPanel. If you look at this part, you see email. So everything you are looking at here is concerning your email management. So I have an email account that is called taiwo@jasperfigitars.com, not the regular taiwo@gmail.com. This is where you set it up on your cPanel. Okay. So to have that is quite pretty straightforward. Let me just quickly show us that. You click on the email account and right there and then you click on create. So when you click on create, the email account will be created. Should I create a new email account just for demo? Let me do. So I just clicked on create. Now don't forget I had two domains on this hosting account. So one of them is taiwodenide.com.ng, the other one is jasperfigitals.com.ng. You can ignore those remaining ones. So let's just presume it's jasperfigitals.com we want to use now. So I come to where the username is and I give it a username that I want. I might just call it, I know I have admin at jasperfigitals already. So let me just call this one Grace at jasperfigitals.com. I just entered grace at jasperfigitals.com. Ideally, I can just input the password straight away now. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. On a normal day, any one of us can. If you are the one setting it up, you can do that. But okay, well, let me just say the password can be typed, and then you can rather ask for an alternate email if you are creating the account for somebody and even you don't want to have access to the password. You just want the person alone to have access to the password. So what you do is to send a login link to the alternate email address. So let me explore that. Adegrace5 at gmail.com. I'll just send it right now. And Viola, we have the email account already, creating email account. So the email account has been created. Right now, she must have received an email on her head to set the password for the account. But of course, you saw that I could have imputed the password and just create the email address. So this email address can be added to your phone and you just manage it from your normal Gmail app. Okay, there's a way to go about that, but that's we're not looking at that. So I just showed us how to set up an email account, and of course, if you are to log in into the account, you can actually do from here. So I just click on check email. So when I clicked on check email, this is the tab that loaded. So it will load, and then I'm showing us all this because I understand that you might need to set up email accounts for clients. Okay, so please pay attention. So you log in from here now. I just clicked on open and then the email will open and then you can start doing whatever you want to do on the email account. Can you see? You see the interface is just like a normal regular email. So I just wanted to show that to us and I think that's fine. So let's come back to the cPanel. So we have seen emails part. Now let's come to tools again. I want to show us file managers or the file manager or about files. So if you come to the files, everything you are looking at here is about the management of the files, the website files. So I'll just click on file manager. That's the most important part, just like we had a email too. So here is actually where all the files for the website is. So if you look at this now, you realize I have Jasper Fidgeters, test does Jasper Fidgeters, sample does Jasper Fidgeters, and all. So now these are the folders that contain the files of the website. For example, if I open this, you see all these files in it. Okay. So now, when we get to the installation of WordPress, begin to see how this is done. Okay. But I just showed us the file manager. So if you want to manage anything or edit anything, for example, if I open the content now, you see my themes, you see my plugins. You're going to get into all of this when we start WordPress development fully. So, but if I open this, so all the files, everything about the website is here. Okay, so that's how we manage. Oh my God, I'm showing a different tab. Okay, this is the manager I was actually talking about. This is where I was making the reference. You see we have different folders for the different. I actually have quite a number of websites on it. This is for jasperfigitals.com. That's where everything about, that's where we have it. Then we have for sample. I use this is a website on it. So if you just check sample.jasperfigitals.com, you will find it online, but you are likely going to find another website there. Okay, then test.jasperfigitals.com. So when I sometimes when I develop websites, I put them on this sample or test.jasperfigitals.com for clients to review. But then I want us to Just take it as that for the cPanel management. You saw how we created email. You saw the file manager. We're still going to come back to file manager in the future when we talk about the installation of WordPress. Now, it's important I just show us what happens here too. The database. So here you can manage your database, and majorly we manage database from what we call phpMyAdmin. Now, of course, I know you are familiar with domains. The other time I showed you something like sample.jasperfidgeters.com, test.jasperfidgeters.com. All you have to do is to get a single domain name, Grace Design. So if you want to do that, you just say agdesigns.com. Once you have that domain name, you can create what we call subdomains. So those things I showed us earlier are subdomains. They can also serve as domain names, but they will be under the original domain. So this is where I created those domain names. You see that? You see sample.jasperfidgeters, you see test. This one has expired actually. So but you can see this. So this way they are created. If I want to create a new one, I'll just click on create a new domain and then I'll just proceed with it. But I just wanted to show that to us.